Welcome, Wild Hearts, to another episode of Spiritual Midwife. As always, I'm honoured to walk alongside you on this soul-deep journey of remembrance, reclamation and resurrection. We are deepening now into our series, exploring women who run with the wolves, a treasure trove of myth, archetype and wild wisdom. If you've been following the podcast, you'll have noticed we're not just revisiting stories. We are awakening lifetimes of knowing that live within our bones. Today's episode is entitled The Fierce Feminine, Reclaiming Creative Fire and Healthy Aggression. And I want you to feel into that even now, fierce, creative, alive. This is the fire that transforms, the clarity that protects, and the passion that allows us to birth. This episode isn't just for women, remember that. It's for all of us who are learning to balance the wild feminine and sacred masculine within. It's for men, just as much as it is for women. Because the feminine exists in you, in need of expression, respect, and reintegration. So take a breath, settle in, and prepare to deep dive. Welcome to Spiritual Midwife, the podcast that tenderly guides you through the transformative journey of spiritual awakening and personal development towards the ultimate destination of soul sovereignty. I'm Clarissa, a medicine woman and dedicated guide to the profound realm of soul sovereignty, and you are listening to Spiritual Midwife. The fierce feminine is not chaotic rage, as it is often projected. She is not emotional volatility. She is not destruction without purpose. No, she is the archetype that births storms to clear the air, roars to awaken the numb, and holds the line where sacred boundaries are needed. She is Kali. She is Segment. She is the protective mother, the passionate artist, the wild woman howling at the moon. She is also the man who says no more to injustice, who feels with his whole body, who dares to live with vulnerability and depth. In this episode, we'll explore what healthy aggression and creative fire look like, why they are often suppressed, how to reclaim and channel them without harm, and how this power reconnects us to purpose, embodiment, and soul. In The Woman Who Runs with Wolves, Clarissa shares a story of Vasalisa, the wise, the young girl who ventures into the dark forest and meets Baba Yaga, the wild crone. This is a tale of intuition, truth-telling, and initiation. But it's also about claiming fire, literal and symbolic. Vasalisa is sent by her stepmother to fetch fire from the old woman in the woods. This journey transforms her. The fire she returns with isn't just for warmth. It's the fire of knowing, of sovereignty, of selfhood. Ask yourself, what is the fire you are meant to carry? What truths do you burn for? What passions have you been taught to dim? We live in a culture that has tamed the wild, and in doing so, it has taught us that to be soft is to be safe, to be agreeable is to be liked, and to be silent is to be spiritual. But spirituality is not passivity. Spirituality includes the roar, the boundary, the refusal, the destruction of the old, so something new may rise. When creative fire is suppressed, it turns in on us. We become depressed or anxious. We feel stuck, uninspired, lifeless. We people please, abandoning our own needs. We avoid conflict at all costs. Healthy aggression is not violence. It's vitality. It's the energy of aliveness, saying, this matters. It's the part of you that says enough, that takes action, that protects your boundaries and births your visions. This conversation is about balance. The fierce feminine exists in us all, but it must dance with the sacred masculine, that part of us that brings focus, structure, and commitment. And equally, this balanced masculine must make space for the feminine's flow, intuition, and deep feeling. For you men listening, this is for you. Reconnecting to your fierce feminine means reclaiming emotional intelligence, valuing intuition over logic alone, being a protector without being controlling, feeling the depth of your soul without shame. For you women listening, you do not need to be palatable to be powerful. You do not need to dim your fire to be loved. You do not need to apologize for being intense, passionate, or deep. So how does that look in reality? What are some of the practices that we can undertake to begin embodying this aspect of our being? Well, voice activation is a good place to start. Set a timer for 5 minutes. Speak freely from your womb, your belly, your bones. Say what's never been said. Roar if you must. This helps to reconnect the throat and the sacral chakras. Sacred rage ritual. It sounds fierce. It's absolutely phenomenal. Write down what you're angry about. Don't be shy. Don't be embarrassed. Don't water down the rage that's hidden within you. Safely scream into a pillow or in the woods, or use movement to release the trapped energy. Burn whatever you've written as a symbolic release. Then sit and listen. What does the fire teach you? I know this was really big for me when I was doing my firewalking instructor's training, and I spent a lot of time with the fire, listening to the fire, trying to understand. And I know I've said in many YouTube videos that I've done, it took me a long time to balance the water of my sign and the fire. Embodied dance. Choose primal or drum-based music. And for those of you that know, I practice a lot of shamanic work, and so drumming for me is a really big way of releasing. But any kind of drumming, any kind of very basic instrument, even the beat of you tapping your foot on the floor, let your body move without choreography. It doesn't matter what it looks like. Allow your limbs to wave and weave and release. And ask your body, What does my body want to say? Create without editing. Write a wild poem. Paint with your fingers. Build something chaotic. And don't judge it. This is about freeing the wild within. And the power of no, the fierce feminine, is not only about saying yes to passion, but it's also about saying no to what dishonours us. And remember, no is a complete sentence. No protects our energies, and no creates room for aligned yeses. And when I say that, I think particularly of who we involve ourselves with, who we allow into our lives, who we allow into that inner circle. Very often friendships are bonded from duty. And these are the hard aspects of honouring ourselves truly. Would I have that person in my life if they weren't a work colleague or if they weren't family? That's where boundaries start to get built. It's the recognition that actually no, we wouldn't have them in our lives. And so we can put boundaries in place even with our family members, even with our work colleagues, as to what and how much we share. And boundaries are our guardians of our creative and spiritual energy. If you've been exhausted, uninspired, or disconnected, look at your boundaries. Where are you leaking power? And I can guarantee you 9 times out of 10, it will be those people that you have allowed into your inner circle from a perspective of duty, from a perspective of it being the societal norms. Review them. And as we come to a close, let me leave you with some questions for soul inquiry. Where in my life am I being too agreeable? What angers me right now? And what is it showing me about what matters? When did I last feel truly alive? What was I doing? And how can I recreate that now in this moment? What would happen if I allowed myself to be too much? And I know for women this is a challenge, because from the time we are born there are a lot of expectations. There are on both the masculine and the feminine, but I know the societal perception is that little girls should be sugar and spice and all things nice. And sometimes we're not, and sometimes we don't want to be. And on those times that we're not, and on those times that we don't want to be, we are very often told we are too much. And that sticks within our psyches as a belief. But remember, we are not here to be quiet. None of us, male or female, we're not here to be quiet. We're not here to be small. We're not here to be tame. We are here to be wild and to be wise, to carry fire, to birth worlds, to walk the edge and midwife the new. The fierce feminine is rising in all of us, regardless of the gender, and her rise is not to destroy the world, but to rebuild it from truth, from love, from sacred fire. So thank you for joining me today. As always, if this episode spoke to your soul, then please share it with someone else who needs to hear its medicine. In our next episode, we'll explore the wounded feminine and the reclamation of deep worth, one of the most vital steps on this journey home to ourselves. Until then, let your voice be heard, your fire be seen, and your truth be felt. You have been listening to Spiritual Midwife, signing off for now.